Hey, work at home moms, are you struggling to make family time a priority right now when you're juggling all the other things in life? We're diving into the topic today, and let's see if we can find some clarity on it. Hey, work at home moms, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Mom Desk Club. My name is Laurel, and I am so excited to jump into today's topic with you about how to juggle quality family time while also being a work at home mom. I know it can feel really complicated and overwhelming a lot of the time. So we're going to keep it short and sweet. You've got enough time to make yourself a cup of coffee and go find a quiet spot to drink it really, really fast. Or you could empty out the dishwasher, or you could sit down and sort your emails. You've got enough time to get those kinds of things done while we just talk a little bit of encouragement and then we get back to it. Okay? As work-at-home moms, we often find ourselves juggling so many different things, and sometimes it can feel really complicated and overwhelming and maybe even a little luxurious to find a way to incorporate juggling family time in with your crazy busy schedule. It almost feels luxurious is probably the right word. It feels very luxurious to sit down and enjoy family time, but it is so crucial that you get to enjoy family time because that's why you chose to be a work-at-home mom in the first place. You chose this because you wanted to be able to support your family financially while also still being there to support them emotionally and physically and be there with them and make memories with them. So we're going to dive into the topic today and see if there's some ways we can kind of iron this out and make it feel a little less complicated. So we're going to start with the big question. Is it even possible to juggle and balance family time with work-at-home mom time? I know this feels really overcomplicated, and I don't even know that there's a straightforward answer for every single person because, quite frankly, everybody's life is different. So what works for me isn't going to work for you, and what works for you isn't going to work for our friend down the road. It's just kind of how it goes. But if you can set your priorities and decide what is most important to you and then set boundaries around those priorities, it can really help you establish and also take some of the confusion out. Whenever I was a kid, I used to always feel like my brain was one of those giant boxes, you know, the old library boxes? I, of course, don't remember this. I was far too young for this moment. But if you used to go to the library a long time ago, they would have their whole card catalog, and you would go and you'd open up the little drawers and you'd pull out the card. I felt like my brain was like that, and I felt like I just constantly always had like 50 different drawers open at the same time. I had the family drawer open, I had the work drawer open, and then I had this project for the work drawer open, and I had that project open, and I felt like I had 50 different is open and never had any closure. Sometimes you need to quiet your brain just enough to close all the drawers and say, okay, listen, right now is the family. We're going to pull this out. We're going to open it. We're going to dig through it. We're going to work on this project, and then we're going to put the drawer back, and then we can go to the next thing. As work-at-home moms, sometimes we have to multitask. That's just kind of part of it. But there are times when we allow our brains to get way too confusing, and we open up way too many drawers, have way too many windows open in the tab open in the windows, and it gets overwhelming. So sometimes you just need to take a minute to quiet your mind and focus on what really matters, and then set boundaries and perimeters around those things. So when you decide that you're going to spend family time with your kids, make sure you carve out that time, set it aside, and don't let anything else interrupt it because it's important. And whenever you have time set aside for your work, you want to be able to carve out and set that time aside as best as you can, barring emergencies. Okay, the next thing that we want to talk about is how to make quality time with your children. I think sometimes, especially in this Pinterest world, we tend to overcomplicate quality time with our children. We think that it's not quality time if we're not sitting down and doing this really robust craft activity, or it's not quality time if we're not taking them to some really big, crazy outing. The fact is that your kids are pretty simple, and what they really just want is your attention. So whether that means that you're sitting down and playing a board game with them, or you're sitting on the couch and you're reading a book with them, or you're baking cookies with them, or you're going on a walk. And sometimes I like to upscale those activities just a little bit, just take it one notch higher. I'm not talking Pinterest crazy, but I'm talking like just a little higher, just scale it up just a little bit. So if we're going on a walk, I'll print out a scavenger sheet, a nature scavenger sheet off of Google. Doesn't have to be anything complicated. I'm not looking for any crazy thing, but I'll do like maybe a spring or a winter scavenger hunt just to help make it a little more fun. We'll go out and we're looking for specific things while we're out there. It gets us talking, it gets us looking for things together, and it can be a lot of fun. Other things that I've been trying to skill up on are books that we've been reading. So I have a pretty big collection of books for kids, but they're getting kind of bored of those books because we've read them a ton. So now I'm utilizing different online lists so that I'm not having to actually take a lot of brain power to think about this. Other people have already thought about this. They've already found lists and created lists of picture books for kids. So I'm using those lists to put books on hold at our local library, and we go and pick them up once a week. Their dad or I will sit down and read books with them in the evening before we go to bed. It's a really great way to encourage some quality family time, get some more reading into our life, but not overcomplicate my life a whole lot either. So there are things you can do to improve quality time that don't actually have to take that long. They aren't that complicated. It's not that hard. Sometimes it's just that you don't have a good system in place to incorporate it into your life, and so it feels really hard. Now, I think this is a good time to stop and pause and just reflect on a moment that work-at-home moms tend to be a bit perfectionists, I think. And we can be way too hard on ourselves when we don't feel like we're doing everything that we wanted to do, or we're not doing it the way we thought it was going to go, or the house isn't as clean as we wanted it to be. Any number of things. We could sit and we could harp on ourselves. And so this whole season, we're talking about mom guilt and how that plays a role as a work-at-home mom. And I want you to just take a minute to sit down and realize you're not perfect. You're not going to be able to do it all. And that's okay. It's not a failure on your part to ask for help. Even just today, we finished up lunch and I asked my daughter to go get the broom. I pulled all the chairs out from the table and I asked her to sweep under the table. It's a way to incorporate her into life, have her help out, have her feel a sense of pride in participating, but also then I'm not having to do all the work myself either. So it's a good way to start incorporating people and asking for help. Whether this is asking your husband for help, whether it's asking for some friends and family for help, it's okay to ask for help. In fact, I found this quote recently. It was quoted by Jasmine Star, but that wasn't the original person. She was actually quoting the father of J.T. Garwood, whoever this is. I don't know who this person is, but Jasmine Star was the one I heard it from. It said, "The secret to life is that everyone wants to help you. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll be successful." So just realize that people want to help you. It's okay to ask for help, and it's not belittling yourself, but it is a really good practice in humility and laying down your pride. All right, one more way that you can incorporate your kids into family time, creating family time, is by incorporating them into the mundane tasks that you're already doing. Sometimes you can incorporate them into folding laundry. This is a really good lesson on helping them learn to be diligent, but it also is a great way to get some help. And it's also a great way to spend some quality time with them as well. You could ask them to help you unload the dishwasher. You could ask them to help you sweep the floor. You could ask them, I remember a couple weeks ago, they were so excited to help their dad clean the garage. Like, they don't even care about cleaning, but it was because they got to do it with him. And they got to be a part of what he was doing, and they felt like that was just a really big deal. So if you can incorporate your kids into your regular daily life, it can make such a big difference in spending quality time with them, but not putting so much pressure on that quality time that you get overwhelmed. All right, there you have it, moms. A few tips that can help you as a busy work-at-home mom to incorporate more family time, intentional, purposeful family time into your life while not adding a lot of extra stress to your plate, because let's be real, you got a lot going on. And so sometimes you just need somebody to come alongside you and remind you that it's not that complicated, that you made it a lot more complicated in your head than it needed to be, and that you've got this. So I hope that you are having a great week. I hope you're making progress on all of your lists, but more importantly, I hope that you're making memories with the people you love and finding purpose in the life that you're living. So I am so excited that we got to spend this time together. I'm looking forward to joining you again next time, and make sure you follow along for more tips, tricks, and solidarity as a work-at-home mom. See ya.